Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Just a quick update for those of you that are subscribed, and there have been a number of you that have been subscribing over the last couple months or so. I've officially relocated to Florida, so I actually bought my first house in my life down here in Florida, specifically St. Augustine, Jacksonville area. And me and Cy right now, as some of you may remember, we were living in Panama City, Panama for the first 6 months of 2021, and we're still waiting on the fiance visa to get the initial approval. So we've been waiting for about 10 months now at this point. And in the meantime, I thought it'd be a great opportunity for me to go visit Thailand because I've never met Sai's family in person. It's kind of crazy because she's from Thailand, I'm from the US. We still haven't actually been to each other's countries. So I'm going next week. I'm leaving on February 2nd. So I'm pretty excited about that. And I had to go through this process to be able to enter Thailand. I'm entering under an entry scheme that's called the Phuket Sandbox because of everything that's going on still into 2022, unfortunately, with the COVID-19 pandemic. But I wanted to put together just a brief video that highlights the steps that I needed to take in order to get my entry into the country approved. Because I thought it was a pretty straightforward process, but I actually got rejected when I initially applied for what's called the Thailand Pass. So previously, I believe in 2020, the only way that you could get into the country was by getting a certificate of entry from an embassy. And you actually had to quarantine at a government sponsored hotel for, I believe, 2 weeks. And then there was a point when it was reduced to 10 days. And when I say quarantine, I mean that you actually were locked in a hotel room for the full 2 weeks. They bring your meals in there. You couldn't leave the room whatsoever, regardless of the fact if you were vaccinated, if you were tested upon arrival. So Thailand takes a pretty serious stance on COVID. And I was really surprised to hear a couple months ago, back in November, that they were opening up this new test and go scheme where essentially you could test on arrival. You would stay one night at a hotel. As soon as you've received a negative test result, you would be able to freely move about the rest of the country. Now, I believe this only applied for those that were fully vaccinated. And I think that in the future, they're also going to require that people are going to be boosted as well. However, I saw an announcement back in December where they announced that they were going to be suspending the test and go scheme with the spread of the Omicron variant. And they were going to be moving back to this sandbox scheme. So essentially, the only way that you could enter the country without doing the full on quarantine was if you did a sandbox scheme at Phuket, which is an island resort that a lot of foreign tourists will go to. And essentially, what I mean by the sandbox, if you guys aren't familiar with the program, is you have to stay at what's called an SHA plus sponsored hotel. You test on arrival, and then you test again on the fifth day that you've been in the country. So with the sandbox scheme, you actually can go anywhere on the island of Phuket. And let me just show you guys what Phuket looks like. It's a pretty big island. I've never been. Of course, this will be my first trip to Thailand. So essentially, for that 7 day period, you have to stay on the island of Phuket. As you can see, it's a pretty big island. It's probably like 30 miles long and 10 miles wide. So not so bad. So you're in a resort area. You can go outside of the hotel, assuming, of course, you test negative on the first test, the first day that you are in the hotel. So I figured that this would be a good option. I'm going to be going to Thailand for around 3.5 weeks. Sai's family, they live up in the Northeast in Isan. The province that they live in is called Sisaket, specifically Kukan. So after I'm in Phuket for 7 days, we're going to take a flight up to Bangkok, and then from there, connecting through to the airport at Ubon Ratchathani. And then we're probably going to rent a car and go to Sai's family's house. So what's great is that Sai will be able to join me immediately upon arrival. We can have kind of a nice little vacation together down in Phuket. And then from there, after the 7 days, assuming I hopefully test negative both times, we'll be able to continue on to our parents' house. So I thought, given that the test and go was suspended, this was probably going to be my best option. However, just before I filmed this video, I did see a new article that came out that said traveling to Thailand is about to get easier again. Starting February 1st, they're actually reinitiating the test and go program. As I'm recording this, it's Sunday, January 23rd. So at this point, I'm not even sure if I'm going to be eligible for it because I'm leaving literally one day later. I don't want to change anything at this point. I already have the hotel reservation, so I'm probably going to continue with the Sandbox scheme. And I saw that they also opened up within the last couple of weeks or so different sandboxes at other resort areas as well. So not only in Phuket, but also in Krabi and I think Khao Samui over here, which is another very famous tourist spot, as well as Panang. Not sure if I'm saying that right. It looks weird in the English text. I'm actually learning the Thai language now myself as well. But yeah, so that's pretty much the plan. I'm going to be doing the Phuket Sandbox. So this video is going to be outlining the entire process. So let's just go ahead and jump into it. So firstly, and most importantly, you're going to need a plane ticket to Thailand. And if you are going to be entering through the Phuket Sandbox, you're not allowed to transit Bangkok. You need to enter the country within Phuket or at Phuket. And there are many different ways that you're able to do this. You can fly on Qatar Airways, like I have here. So I'm leaving from JFK, connecting through Doha, and then they have direct flights all the way from Doha to Phuket. So I'm not transiting Bangkok, the Suvarnabhumi airport. There's also the option, I think Singapore Airlines has some flights as well. You may have seen my video on Google Flights, so you can go there for more information on how to get a good price when it comes to booking a flight and how to do it so that you're not, having a layover for multiple hours. Like if you look at this first flight here, it's like 36 hours. It's always going to be a long flight because I'm coming from the United States on the other side of the world. And what I'm going to be doing is, since I'm down in Florida now, I'm going to go to my parents' house up in New Jersey, spend a few days there before I head out, and then just leave from JFK. It's funny now being down in Florida. I'm so used to being so close to an airport that just connects you to everywhere in the world, being close to JFK and to Newark as well. Now I actually have to fly a plane to get to the airport that takes me different places. So anyway, I decided to go with Qatar Airways. I've always have heard really good things about Qatar. I know that Sai has taken Qatar Airways, I think, when she was going home from Estonia through Finland one time. So excited to try it out. Just the economy class, the Q suites on Qatar Airways look really nice. I actually recently just got a American Airlines credit card as well, this one here, because you can get 50,000 bonus points when signing up. And they have a code sharing agreement with Qatar Airways. So I'm hoping that I can use that hopefully in the future to upgrade to one of those Q suites to try it out. But that's my flight. So that's going to be step one. Once you have your flight, step two is going to be booking your accommodation. So this website here, although it doesn't really look that visually appealing, it doesn't look super official, I'm pretty sure that this is actually the government sponsored website that has all the hotels that are SHA plus approved. And as you see here, I have it filtered from Sandbox hotels. You can choose the different Sandbox areas. I don't think Bangkok is currently a Sandbox area, but this is probably from before. And I have it filtered for Phuket. So you can see the prices. They're listed in Thai baht. So I believe the exchange rate around now, it's like 33. So $1 is 33 Thai baht, or we could look at euros as well. Really good exchange rate right now. I know that Sai was disappointed because she was working in Europe. A lot of her friends are sending money back to their family, and the exchange rate is better than it's ever been, which isn't necessarily great for the Thai economy, but really good for anyone that is visiting Thailand from the European Union or from the United States or Canada for that matter as well. So I didn't actually use this website to find my hotel. What I did is I kind of just looked around on different places. For example, like Google has their own platform as well where you can look for hotels. And you'll notice that any decent hotel that you would want to stay at, they really should be listing on the bottom of their website that they're an SHA plus sponsored hotel. So you should see that listed on the website. So if you want to look through a different platform, and then you can just verify by looking on this website and making sure that it shows up there, I think that that would be definitely a great option. So yeah, I'm staying at My Beach Resort, Phuket, which is on the south side of the island. Where is it? My Beach, Phuket. And I'm actually using some of my credit card points, so I'm staying here for free. Really nice hotel. It looks really great. Beautiful views over the sea here. I think it's the Andaman Sea, but we're kind of just looking over into a cove. And as you see here, it's starting at $60 a night, so definitely not too bad. Next, this is an important step that I actually didn't take the first time around because I was trying to get a confirmation letter from the hotel. Because the first step that I took is I just went straight to this website, which is the Thailand Pass website. I'll put links to all of these different websites in the description below. So I just went right here. I'm a non-Thai, English language, and I went and submitted this application. And you'll see that when you go here, there's different options. Test and go right now is still grayed out. You don't have the option of selecting that. Here's the Sandbox programs. When I was booking it, the only option was Phuket, but now there's a few other sandbox areas for other kind of popular beach resorts amongst foreign tourists. And yeah, when I was doing this process, I just included like a screenshot of my booking. Let me see if I can find that, which was this. You see, I booked it with some of my credit card miles, and they said, "Hey, what did they say? I don't even remember." I told them, oh, they told me that I needed to provide them with receipt of my COVID test to show that I had processed payment for it and I had it set up. But for whatever reason, my credit card wasn't going through. So until I was able to finally get it approved and send them over this receipt here, they weren't able to give me the confirmation letter. Without the confirmation letter, I wasn't able to get my Thailand pass. Without my Thailand pass, not able to go to Thailand. So it's kind of a lot of steps in the process. But if you look over here, this is the website, thailandpsas.com. You'll notice the announcement here mentioning that as of December 23rd, which is when they reinstated the sandbox option as essentially the best option to enter the country, they require a test on the first day as well as a test on day 5. And I'm going to click create an appointment here, and you'll see the number of times that I tried to have the payment go through. So I used just my debit card. I used 3 different credit cards from the United States. So what I ended up doing is I ended up just calling the phone number on the back of my credit card, and they tried different things on their end, the credit card company. And eventually, as I was on the phone with them, I recommend staying on the phone with them while you're doing this process to make sure that actually will go through. And finally, on like the 3rd or 4th try of them trying different things on their end, I was able to successfully have it go through. So to set this up, it's pretty easy. You just click make appointment. You'll enter your information. I'll just do this real quick just so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. So your birthday. Okay, so that's going to be month first. I am an American. It lets me select it. We're going to Phuket Airport, and then you'll notice the hotels that are in here. They should auto-populate. And it doesn't seem to be allowing me to choose my nationality, but so maybe I won't necessarily go through the entire process, but you just have to put your flight information in. You'll do all of that, and then essentially you'll be prompted to make a payment. All that is very straightforward. It's just for whatever reason, my credit card wasn't allowing the payment to go through, probably because it was a foreign transaction and they didn't know why I was booking a COVID test in another country. As for the cost, let me see. This is my receipt that you'll receive. So you'll receive this via email. Looks like it was 4,200 baht for the 2 tests. So around $127. So yeah, just another expense that you'll need to keep in mind as you're booking your trip to Thailand. And you'll notice that I chose a specific swab center for the second test. So there's a number of swab centers on the island of Phuket, and you can choose the location that's closest to your hotel for the second test. Assuming you test negative on both of those days, after day 7, you'll be able to leave your accommodation and travel to the rest of the country. So here's what I did after that. As you see here, I sent my COVID test through to them, and then I received one of the most important things here that you'll need to get the Thailand pass. This is my confirmation letter here. It shows the days that I'm staying at the hotel, my airline, or rather my flight number upon arrival. And it also mentions that they've seen that I have paid for the 2 tests with the thailandpsas.com with my receipt number. So now that you have this piece of information, One other thing that you'll need is travel medical insurance during the duration of your stay, up to 50,000, or rather at a minimum of at least 50,000 US dollars. The specific provider that I chose to use for my trip is Seven Corners. This is a provider that I used in the past. I know that when I traveled to Estonia in 2020, another one of the entry requirements was also that you had travel medical insurance, specifically that covered COVID-19. There's a lot of different providers that offer, from what I've seen, pretty similar coverage, and it's very inexpensive. I'll show you. We can take a look at a plan together to kind of get a sense for the cost. So we're going to go to products. The product that we're looking for is going to be the Liaison Travel Medical Insurance. I'm going to enter my state here as Florida, and then I'm going to click on quote and buy after I have entered the dates of my travel. So I'm leaving on the 2nd, coming back on the 26th. My trip does not include the United States. This is because I don't need to select this because my normal medical insurance in the United States will cover me here. So I'm going to put in Thailand, and I actually noticed that, kind of through a little bit of trial and error, you can put multiple countries here and it doesn't change the price of the insurance that you're paying for. So since I'm transiting Qatar, I'm just going to put Qatar as well. And then I am not traveling with a group of more than 10 travelers, so I'm going to say no for that. I'll enter my age, which is 28, and then I'm going to click on quote and buy. And you'll see that there's 3 different options that show up. There's the basic, the choice, and the liaison plus. And you can scroll down and it'll show you all the really detailed information that discuss the coverage. So choose the plan that makes the most sense for you. I think that I chose the middle one or the top one, and you even can change the plan as well, like the medical maximum. So just make sure that you choose a plan, of course, that has at least 50,000. I think in my case, I just chose $500,000. I don't know why. I mean, I don't think that I'm going to need it, but it was literally only like $6 or $7 more. So that wasn't an issue. And then I think I put a deductible on it as well, which I think reduced the price. Yeah, so like I'm like, okay, if something terrible happened, how much would I really be upset about paying? Would I be okay paying $250? Yes, that's not a problem. So I did that. So you can kind of play around with the plan that makes the most sense for you. You should get a receipt for that as well. I actually didn't already pull that up, but let me see if I can find my receipt from Seven Corners, because you'll need to provide this document when you're submitting for the Thailand pass as well. So I believe this is the confirmation. Access my documents, plan documents. Maybe it was the coverage letter that we need. So this is not it actually. It's going to be the coverage letter. So I would download this onto your computer. It's going to include the information that you need to be able to submit for the Thailand pass. So it's going to have your certificate number. It's going to show the coverage dates. So this is the actual plan that I know, this isn't the plan that I purchased. This is the one that we just did together right now. Or maybe this is the one that I purchased. I'm not sure. This might be the real one because I don't remember putting March 3rd there. I think I just ended up putting extra days because it was pretty much the same price as it was a month. So this is the document that you'll need to submit for the Thailand pass. So let me just check my notes that I have here. I think that's the last step in the process besides actually submitting for the Thailand pass. So if we go over to the Thailand pass website again, the entry scheme that we're going to select is the Blue Zone Sandbox. You'll show some of the documentation that you need to provide. And this one should be available just in a few days again. So honestly, if this was available for me when I was traveling, I would have just ended up doing the test and go. But the Sandbox is not a bad option as well. If you're going to go to Thailand for an extended period of time and you want to chill at a resort by the pool or by the beach every day and just relax, not such a bad option as well, especially if you're already planning on going to Phuket at some time during your visit. So we're going to click select here. This is just an attestation, where you just have to attest that you have agreed to all of the stipulations that go with the entry scheme. I do think there's a tracking app that you need to download upon arrival to Thailand, just so that the government can make sure that you're actually in the area that you say you are for that duration of time. I definitely wouldn't try to mess with them. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that show Locked Up Abroad. Older show, but you don't want to be on it. So I would just follow the rules. So let's just go through this together really briefly. Purpose of arrival. In my case, it's travel. Select the option that applies to you. Departure area. I'm coming from the United States. These are the different airports that currently are available to choose for the Sandbox entry scheme. I'm going to choose Phuket. My flight number, let's see that. I think it's QR842. So this is going to be the actual flight that gets you into Thailand. So not your first flight. As you see, I have 2 flight numbers here. So it's going to be QR842. And I'm arriving on February 2nd, departing on February 26th. So I'm going to say register, confirm. I am a Mr. Ryan Bauer. I am an American. Is that date of birth? My date of birth, October 1993. No, 93. The 20th. Put my email address in. I find this kind of interesting that they ask for my occupation. So I'm just going to put my job title there. So it's just kind of random, not really sure. Just so they can make sure you're someone that is employed, I guess, although there's no way to verify that. So I have an ordinary passport. Unfortunately, I don't have a very cool diplomatic passport. So you would enter your passport number in here. You would attach a file. So I'm just going to put something that I have saved on my computer here for now. Then you're going to click next. So this is where you actually need to enter your vaccine card. So you need to say the specific vaccine that you received for your dose 1. Let's just say I got it back in the beginning of 2021. You're going to attach a file. Dose 2. We'll just put a random date for this as well. So just put whatever information is on your COVID vaccination card. And if for whatever reason you're not vaccinated, you're not able to enter from this scheme. I forget if I mentioned that earlier. So you'll need to do the full quarantine where you're actually like locked in the hotel the entire time. So that's kind of just another incentive to get quarantined. I mean to get vaccinated. So I'm just attaching random images here so it allows me to move through the next step. So in the United States, we have these vaccine cards. It mentions something here about a QR code for a vaccination certificate. We don't have that option as far as I know in the United States. So, but if this applies to you, maybe you can do that as well, although I'm not really sure what that implies. And I clicked on a 3rd dose as well because I've received my booster. So I guess I don't need to put it for now, though. It'll still let me go to the next step. And then you just say that this information is correct. You choose the booking option that you've selected. So if it's an SHA Extra Plus hotel, you select that. Alternative quarantine, again, is the one where they lock you in the room. So don't really recommend that one. It's going to be Phuket. And then it should auto-populate my beach. Maybe. There it is. My beach. The address will automatically populate within there as well. Then I need my booking confirmation from the hotel. So you'll just need the booking number, so that would be in the letter that you received from the hotel. If I can find it. My beach. So, confirmation letter. Here somewhere. There it is. So that's my reservation number there. I don't know if it allows you to copy and paste it. No, so we'll just put it right now. But it will be on the document that you received on from the hotel, the actual number that applies. Definitely make sure you do that and not just the number that you received from like your credit card company or wherever you booked it on. You'll choose the duration of your stay. You'll also have a receipt number from the COVID test. So that should be on here. So I have my number here. And then you're going to have to attach a document of your booking. So for whatever reason, it doesn't allow you to attach a, what do you call it, a PDF here. So you probably should just go to like a PDF to JPEG or PNG converter online. I remember that's what I had to do for mine. Not sure why they don't support the PDF, because that's the way that it's sent. Then you just need to put your overseas address. So you can enter that there. Obviously the full address with the actual city. You can put a phone number in there. And then an emergency contact if you'd like to. In there as well. And then we can go to next. You'll need your insurance policy number. So again, that's why it's good that we already got all these documents done ahead of time. So 7 corners. So that number there, that's the one that you're going to need. It was also on the document that we looked at together. But yeah, for now we can just put a random one. You just have to verify that yes, it has at least $50,000 of coverage. What's the effective date? The date that you're going to be arriving. Then you got to actually attach the file that corresponds with it as well. So you can put that there. Any other countries that you visited within 14 days of your arrival. So I don't know if this counts if you're just transiting the airport, but in my case, I'm just putting Qatar as well. I did that and I was able to get approved. So wasn't an issue. And then you're going to be attaching the PCR test result confirmation. So that's going to be this thing here. So you need that again. So you're going to attach that there. And then I'm not going to actually click submit because all this information isn't actually accurate and it's totally random. But once you do select submit, I think that I received an email confirmation. Where would that be from? Thailand Pass. That says it came through. Yeah, so this is what it'll say. It received your registration. The result of your registration will be sent to you in 3 to 7 working days. And then what you can do to check it is if you go to this Thailand Pass website, let me just go back to their homepage. You can click English. So you're going to have an access code. You're going to have, you can input your passport number and your email address to check on the status. Now, for whatever reason, when I initially submitted this, I don't know if it's because my information was correct or it was because no one was actually looking at it, but it went well beyond the 3 to 7 days that they mentioned and still no one had looked at it. So what I started doing is I started reaching out to different like consulates and embassies throughout the United States to see if someone might answer me and see if there's some way that they can expedite it. And the one that I had success in reaching out to is this email address. I found it on the Thai consulate in New York's website. So it's info@thaicgny.com. And I provided them with my information just saying, hey, it's been like 10 days. I'm still seeing that the application is under review. And I reached out to the alias that it mentioned there, the support one. No one responded to that. I'm just saying, hey, like, can you help me? Can you help me out here? And they said my application was rejected because the 2 PCR test results, I didn't have the receipt for that basically. So that's when I went ahead and resubmitted everything. But if you guys are following this video to the T or to a T, then you shouldn't run into this issue. But the reason I'm mentioning this right now is because once I ended up getting the approval and actually submitting my documents correctly, I just reached out to this woman here from the embassy, and she basically approved my application in the same day. So if you reach out to her, maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but for her sake, because a lot of people might start reaching out to the Thai consulate, but they'll just basically approve your application very quickly. So I would recommend doing that because, again, I think there's a very good chance that they just didn't see my application come through. And if you have a trip that's coming up to Thailand in the near future and you want to make sure that you're able to get into the country and have everything approved in time, you may want to just reach out to them directly to have it expedited. So that is pretty much the process. The only thing that I haven't done yet that I need to do before I leave is actually print out all the documents. So probably in a folder, probably not like this one. This is actually my Thai language learning documents, but like a nice like manila folder. Print out everything that you need, have it ready because they will be checking your documents upon entry into the country. I may make a follow-up video after I've actually successfully obtained entry into the country to kind of let you guys know what the situation is like there. But make sure you have all your documents. Enjoy your trip to Thailand. I know that I definitely am. I know this was kind of a longer video, and it took around like 5 minutes for me to actually get into what the process looks like, but I wanted to keep you guys updated as well, kind of on what's going on with me, because again, most of you guys that are watching this video probably have never seen my channel before and are watching this because you're trying to figure out how to get into Thailand and you want to find a good video on it. But there are around 500 of you guys now that are subscribed, so I wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on. And for the majority of people, probably 90+% people that are watching this video, if you made it all the way to the end and you're still here, I would appreciate it if you guys could, give this video a thumbs up, not only for me, but so that this can be pushed out to other people that are trying to obtain entry into the country. It's a very fluid situation in Thailand, so a lot of the videos that are already up there, I have noticed, are out of date. And this video probably is going to become out of date at some point in the near future as well. But if you watched it and it's still relevant to what the rules are today, which it should be at least for a few months, I don't think that COVID's going to go away completely until maybe the end of 2022, kind of crossing my fingers on that. But if you guys like this type of video, you want to hear more about me and Sai's kind of life moving forward, because I'm from the US, she's from Thailand. So it's kind of interesting to see a perspective from someone from the West as well as someone from the East, and kind of how they coexist and live together and navigate the complexities of this post-COVID-19 world as well. So if you guys do want to subscribe to see more content, let me know down in the comments what you guys would like to know more about me or what's going on, or what type of content you would like to see in the future as well. So I appreciate everyone stopping by. Hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. See you guys.